The North Atlantic was a graveyard of steel and secrets, its depths cloaking the wreckage of wars long past. In the summer of 2024, a team of deep-sea explorers aboard the Aurora Ventus, a state-of-the-art research vessel, sliced through the icy waves, their sonar pinging the ocean floor 3,000 meters below. Led by Dr. Elias Moreau, a marine archaeologist with a reputation for unearthing the impossible, the crew was chasing rumors of a lost Nazi U-boat, U-957, a Type WWII submarine that vanished in 1944, its fate swallowed by the sea. Whispers among historians spoke of a clandestine mission, codenamed Schattenwolf, tied to the Third Reich's desperate final gambles. The Aurora Ventus was equipped with a prototype submersible, the Nautilus III, capable of withstanding crushing pressures, and a crew hungry for discovery. Norik Jaer, a Norwegian engineer with a knack for decoding mechanical relics, Jamal Carter, an American ex-Navy diver whose instincts rivaled sonar, and Sofia Alvarez, a cryptographer obsessed with unraveling wartime enigmas. The sonar chirped erratically one midnight, painting a silhouette on the screens. A long, cylindrical husk, unmistakably a U-boat, resting at a jagged angle on an underwater ridge. The crew gathered, their breath fogging the control room's chilled air. "That's her," Elias murmured, his eyes tracing the ghostly outline. The wreck was intact, a rarity for vessels torn apart by depth charges or time. The Nautilus III was prepped by dawn, its titanium hull gleaming under floodlights. Elias, Nora, and Jamal would descend, leaving Sophia to monitor from the surface, her fingers already dancing over decryption software in anticipation of what they might find. The descent was a plunge into oblivion. The submersible's lights carved feeble beams through the inky void, revealing motes of marine snow drifting like ash. At 2,800 meters, the U-boat emerged, a rusted leviathan encrusted with barnacles, its conning tower leaning like a broken crown. The hull bore scars from an explosion, but the forward hatch was sealed, a tantalizing promise of secrets within. Jamal maneuvered the Nautilus III's robotic arms, clearing debris with surgical precision. The hatch groaned under pressure, then yielded, exhaling a cloud of silt into the abyss. Inside, the U-boat was a frozen tableau of 1944. The control room's dials and levers glinted faintly, preserved by the frigid, oxygen-starved water. Elias's gloved hand brushed a logbook, its pages brittle but legible, inscribed with meticulous German script. Nora's flashlight swept over a bulkhead, revealing a strange insignia, a wolf's head encircled by runes, unlike any Nazi emblem they knew. Jamal, exploring the torpedo room, froze. "Elias, you need to see this," he radioed, his voice tight. Stacked against the walls were not torpedoes but crates, dozens of them, stamped with the same wolf and rune symbol. One crate had split open, spilling ingots that gleamed gold even in the gloom. Back on the Aurora Ventus, Sophia pored over images relayed from the submersible. The logbook's final entry, dated October 17, 1944, mentioned a rendezvous with a ship called Eisvogel near Jan Mayen Island, aborted when Allied destroyers closed in. The word Schattenwolf appeared repeatedly, alongside coordinates that didn't match any known Allied or Axis routes. The runes, Sophia realized, resembled an obscure pre-Norse script, hinting at occult influences, an obsession of certain Nazi elites.
Hier Dekryption Algorithms flagget A coded Phrase in the log. Der Schlüssel liegt im Herzen des Wolfs.
The key lies in the heart of the wolf. The crew's elation was tempered by unease. The gold suggested plunder, but the runes and cryptic mission pointed to something darker. Nora, inspecting the engine room, found a sealed compartment behind the diesel motors, its door etched with the wolf insignia. It took hours to cut through, revealing a narrow chamber containing a single object, A steel cylinder, 3 feet long, engraved with astrological symbols and fitted with a complex locking mechanism. Jamal dubbed it the Wolf's Heart, half joking, but the name stuck. The cylinder's weight suggested something heavy inside, perhaps a weapon, a relic, or worse. As the Nautilus 3 surfaced with its hull, a storm churned the Atlantic, forcing the Aurora Ventus to anchor. In the ship's lab, Elias examined the cylinder under lamplight, its surface cold as death. Sophia's translations of the logbook grew frantic, uncovering references to a Nazi splinter group called Orden des Schattenwolves, a cult-like faction rumored to pursue esoteric technologies. The cylinder, she warned, might be a Pandora's box. Nora, ever practical, suggested opening it with a plasma cutter, but Elias hesitated. The log's final warning haunted him. WER das Herzoffnet, weckt den Schatten. Whoever opens the heart awakens the shadow. That night, the ship's radar pinged an anomaly. A vessel approaching through the storm, unlit and unresponsive to hails. Jamal, on watch, spotted it through binoculars. A sleek, unmarked ship, its hull cutting the waves with predatory grace. Before he could sound the alarm, the Aurora Ventus's power flickered, plunging the deck into darkness. From the lab below, Elias heard a faint hum emanating from the cylinder, growing louder, as if something within was stirring. The Aurora Ventus rocked violently in the storm's grip, its hull groaning as waves battered the steel. The unmarked ship loomed closer, a shadow against the roiling horizon, its silence more menacing than any hail. Elias clutched the steel cylinder in the darkened lab, its hum now a low, rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat echoing through the ship. Nora burst in, her face pale under the emergency lights. "We're being jammed, radio, sonar, everything's dead," she said, her voice sharp with urgency. Jamal followed, gripping a crowbar, his diver's instincts screaming of ambush. Sophia, hunched over her laptop, muttered about the logbook's final cipher, her fingers trembling as she typed, "Das Herz schützt und verdammt. The heart protects and damns." The crew barricaded the lab, their breath visible in the frigid air as the ship's heating failed. The cylinder's hum grew insistent, its astrological engravings faintly glowing. An impossibility, Elias thought, unless the metal itself was engineered with properties science couldn't yet explain. Sophia's decryption revealed more. The Orden des Schattenwolves believed the cylinder, the Wolf's Heart, held a device tied to their occult experiments, a prototype from a secret Nazi program blending technology with arcane rituals. The log mentioned a physicist, Dr. Wilhelm Varg, who vanished with U-957, his notes describing a machine that could bend the veil between worlds. The crew exchanged glances, skepticism warring with dread. A metallic clang echoed from the deck above, followed by boots on steel. Too many, too deliberate. The unmarked ship had launched a boarding party. Jamal cracked the lab door, peering into the corridor. Shadows moved in the flickering light, figures in tactical gear, their faces obscured by masks. "They're not here for the gold," he whispered, tightening his grip on the crowbar. Elias tucked the cylinder into a reinforced case, his mind racing. The Aurora Ventus was no warship. They were explorers, not fighters. But the cylinder's pulse suggested it was more than a relic. It was active, alive, and whoever these intruders were, they wanted it. Nora rigged a makeshift EMP from the ship's spare batteries, hoping to disable the intruder's tech. As the figures breached the lower deck, she triggered it, plunging the ship into deeper darkness. The hum from the cylinder faltered, then resumed, louder, as if angered. Sophia, still decoding, gasped. "The runes, they're not just symbols. They're a map." Her screen displayed coordinates embedded in the cipher, pointing to a remote Arctic islet, a place uncharted even by modern satellites. The Orden's mission, she realized, wasn't to deliver the cylinder but to hide it, far from the war's end. The intruders reached the lab door, their silenced weapons spitting sparks as they fired through the lock. Jamal swung the crowbar, catching one in the chest, while Nora hurled a fire extinguisher, buying seconds. Elias, clutching the case, led the crew through a maintenance hatch to the submersible bay. The Nautilus III was their only escape. As they piled in, the cylinder's hum became a wail, vibrating the submersible's hull. Jamal sealed the hatch just as the lab door exploded inward, revealing a figure in a wolf-emblazoned mask, staring with unnerving calm. The Nautilus III detached, sinking into the Atlantic's depths. The unmarked ship didn't pursue. Perhaps it couldn't, or perhaps it didn't need to. In the submersible's cramped cabin, the crew watched the cylinder, its glow now pulsing in sync with their own racing hearts. Sophia's laptop, miraculously intact, displayed the Arctic coordinates, along with Varg's final note: Das Herz offnet die Tür. Aberderpries ist ewig. The heart opens the door, but the price is eternal. Hours later, the Nautilus III surfaced near a desolate ice shelf. The Arctic sky a bruise of violet and gray. The islet was a jagged scar of rock, unmarked on any map, its center dominated by a stone circle etched with the same runes as the cylinder. As Elias stepped onto the frozen ground, the cylinder's wail softened, as if recognizing its home. Nora scanned the stones, her engineer's eye catching faint grooves. Machinery, impossibly ancient, hidden beneath the ice. Jamal, ever vigilant, spotted a faint light on the horizon. The unmarked ship, tracking them. Sophia knelt by the circle, aligning the cylinder's symbols with the stones. A low rumble shook the ground, and a slab parted, revealing a shaft descending into darkness. The cylinder's glow intensified, illuminating carvings of wolves and stars, a cosmology alien to any textbook. Elias hesitated, Varg's warning echoing. The price is eternal. But the intruder's ship was closing, and the cylinder seemed to beckon, its pulse now a command. As the crew descended, the shaft sealed behind them, trapping them with the wolf's heart. The air grew warm, unnatural for the Arctic, and the walls pulsed with the same rhythm as the cylinder. At the chamber's heart stood a machine, gears and crystals, humming with impossible energy. The cylinder slotted into its core, and the chamber blazed with light. Sophia's voice trembled as she read the final cipher aloud. Der Schatten erwacht. The shadow awakens. Above, the ice cracked, and the world shuddered.